Hi everyone, so today's one of my favourite videos to do, a Natasha Denona new release, and here it is, the Mini Rose eyeshadow palette, which has unbelievably arrived with me already, so I cannot wait to show you how this one looks. I'll also show you the shadows that are already in one other palette, and I will also be trying on all of the I Need a Rose products that I've got in my collection with this, so I'll be doing cheeks and lips, so I'll have a full face of rose. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah. I'm not a professional, just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty, and here on my channel I like to show you all of my favourite products, favourite looks, to review the latest products that are out now. And if you think you'd enjoy that, I would love it so much if you liked and subscribed. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for returning. And if you comment below, I would love to chat with you. I love getting to know everybody, and it's super helpful to my channel when you do, so I really do appreciate it. Anyway, let's get on with this video. So this palette launched on Tuesday this week for VIP access only. I think it's available everywhere now. And I'm here in the UK, and it arrived here on today, Thursday, which is incredible. I did pay for the express shipping, which is £12. You pay £5 to get this if you're prepared to wait. One thing I'd like to let people know here in the UK, if you're ordering this by the way, is I have tested out going for the cheaper delivery option, and when I do that it can sometimes take 2 to 3 weeks, even though it says I think 2 to 3 days, or 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 5. But whenever I've paid for express, which okay is 12, but whenever I've paid that, it's always come within days, always. This is probably one of the fastest within less than 48 hours, which is crazy. But usually if I order on a Tuesday, it's here by the Friday. The latest it's ever got to me is the following Monday, but nearly always the Friday or the Saturday. So just keep that in mind. The packaging is always fantastic. I've never had a break, touch wood. They are always bubble wrapped inside and in a packed padded envelope, so it's super safe. And also there's the discount code, which I've got and lots of other creators have, for 15% off. So there's lots of good reasons to still order from the UK with Natasha. I've never experienced a single problem. And the other thing to point out about her website is you do build up points when you order from Natasha. So I order every single collection from Natasha, and the point system is very generous, because every single time I've gone back to order, I've always got enough to get about £20 off. So this one cost me £5 because I had 20 from the last collection. So that was the golden collection, so obviously I spent a fair bit on that, but it just shows how quickly you build up credit. So really I just paid £5 plus postage for this, which is really good. So I just wanted to let you know, because I do think, from my experience of ordering abroad and ordering generally, this is one of the best places I've ordered from. I'll pop my 15% discount code for you below now. If it doesn't work, that's because you've already used it, because only one account can use it once. So unless you've got several accounts in your household, then you can only use this once, I'm afraid. But I think loads of creators have this code at the moment, so if you can't use mine, please do look out for others, because loads of people have this code. So before I do anything else, I'm going to show you my video I've just taken now outside, showing you this swatched out in the natural daylight. So here's that video. So this is made in Italy, paraben free and cruelty free, and they are all repeat shades. So let me just show you which ones are repeated where. So Golden Rose, which is a duochrome rose with a gold share. This was in the Purple Blue 28 palette, which is quite an old palette, and I don't have that one in my collection. And I think it's reformulated. I think pretty much most of these are reformulated, so they're reused old powders from quite a long time ago, but reformulated, so they are really new in that sense. And the other one is here, Flamingo. This was also from one of the 28 palettes, which is very old, and this is a matte light soft pink. And these three are all in a palette I do have, which is the retro palette, so I'll just show you the difference between those to see if there is any. So this one is called Opare, and this one is a dark matte taupe. So it's completely matte pressed powder. And here it is in the Retro palette, but the difference here was it was the cream to powder formula in the Retro palette, and here is this one swatched against that. So really not a lot of difference, but the difference I can tell you straight away is that with cream to powders, they're just not as pigmented. I know they look as pigmented there, but it's more about the application. They do blend out and they're not as strong. So, and also I find that the matte is a little easier. It's not that the cream to powder formula isn't effective, but I personally prefer the matte. So I think changing it to matte is probably a good upgrade in this case. So I'll look at the other matte, which is also repeated, and that's this one here. This one's called Andy, and it's a matte medium lilac. This is the new one here. And here it is in the Retro palette. Again, it's in the cream to powder formula in the Retro palette. And here it is swatched out. It's funny because the cream to powders are coming out more pigmented than these mattes. So, I don't know. Do you know what? Today I might actually try both on each side so we can see how different they look. That could be a good idea, couldn't it? To see how different they are to use. I will do that. And lastly, we have Psychedelic here. This is a Chroma Crystal Baby Pink. And here it is from the Retro palette. It looks a little bit less sparkly, the one in the Retro palette, but that might just be the way it's catching in the light. So I'm definitely going to do that. I'm going to try those 3 shades from the Retro on one side and the new one on the other. And at least we can see if those are similar. The 28s, if you have them, they're different formulas and they're very old. So I don't think, even if I had them in my collection, I could give a completely fair comparison because they're well out of date if you've got them in your collection. So using my Refa 01, I'm going to start this look, and I think I'm going to start with this one here. So this one is Andy, and this is in Retro as well. This is the side where I'm going to do the new palette. So I'm going to start this here. Let's just see how pigmented it is before I get going. Now, pinks can make me look ill, so I need to be a little bit careful with how much of this sort of shade anyway I apply. I'm hoping I can get enough depth from this shade here to stop it from making me look a bit unwell. Pinks, when they work on me, I love them, but it's not really my favourite colour to use on my skin tone. So as usual, the formula is exceptionally easy. You cannot beat a Natasha Denona matte. It's just that easy. Using the Refa 03, I'm going to run the same shade underneath. I'm just rubbing off both those brushes so I can try exactly the same with the shade in the Retro palette. So going into Andy here from the Retro palette. Now this is the cream to powder. So let's see if this will be as easy to blend out. Usually the cream to powder formula isn't quite as easy. You can see straight away it's doing that thing where it sort of sets down as you expect a cream product, even though they don't particularly feel creamy, but it's setting down. It's already sort of stuck, if you know what I mean. You have to work a lot harder to get it to move. So straight away I can feel the difference. It just means a little bit more work, not a lot, a little bit more. But the pigment, I'd say, as with the swatches, it almost seems like the pigment is stronger, which is quite rare. I did say to you at the beginning, the cream to powder formula normally I find is less pigmented. But in this case, I think it's slightly more pigmented. So a little bit more effort to blend, but not much. And you've got plenty of pigment, so I don't really see a big difference there. But if I was going to choose, I would go with this formula because it's just a little bit easier. I am going to take a tiny bit of a part. I don't know if it's O-part or O-part, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I don't want to have too much of a really strong colour, but I do want a bit more depth. I'm just going to pat this initially to see how strong it is. I really did just dab it in. Look, it just blends in straight away. That's what I love about these mattes. They just work themselves into each other so easily. And the Refa #1 brush is one of the most reliable brushes for this. Oh, that is pretty. That is really good, actually. Really good. So that tiny little dab has given me all that depth. Because I wouldn't want to have it... I don't like with my skin tones to go really dark, but I also don't like to have too much pink. So it's just taking the edge off the pink for me, which is great. With a tiny dab more, I'm just going to try to work this out a little bit here. I've got my Rapid 27, I'm going to go into Flamingo. And now I'm going to take this across the top and sort of really smooth out the edges here. So now I'm going to take our part from the Retro palette using the Ref number 1 again. Do exactly the same on this side, and let's see how this is. Will this blend as easily, or will it stick down in that sort of cream formula? Well, it's definitely looking a bit less pigmented, I think. Yeah, slightly less pigmented. And just see how it just somehow doesn't quite have that ease of blending, but it's not doing too badly. Certainly not enough for me to think this palette would be necessary on these colours alone anyway, if you've got the Retro palette. That's still working very easily, to be fair. One thing with the cream to powder actually is I'm finding that I'm not left with any sort of patchy areas that I have to go back and fill in. And I had to do a little bit of that here. I had to work a bit harder to get that to even its way out, whereas with the cream to powder formula it just doesn't budge, so once it's down it really does stay in place and you don't get that sort of patchiness. So I don't know which one I prefer there. I think they're both good in their own way, but very easy still. So back in with Flamingo again, which I'm taking from the new palette because I don't have that in the Retro. I'm going to use my Pat McGrath Intensify Artistry wand to apply across the lid now, because I want the shimmers I'm about to use to really pop. And for me at the moment, this product is my absolute favourite for making things pop. I love it. I've linked it below in case you want to get it. Might be worth waiting for a Pat McGrath launch and getting them together, or a Pat McGrath sale. She's very much due a new mothership soon, hopefully. So now I'm going to take Golden Rose, which is the duochrome, and I'm going to put this pretty much all over the lid. So because I put the, oh look at that, because I put the wand down, I'm just going to tap it on and it will just adhere to the eyelid and make it pop that much more. That is lovely. This is the shade which really just brings this palette together for me. And this is a shade of pink I can wear. I really, really like that. So I'm just stopping at the sort of very last bit of the eyelid because I'm going to take the last shimmer into my inner corner and just bring it across a little bit. So with my BK Beauty 207, I'm now going to go into the Psychedelic. So this is the Chroma Crystal. Now this one would make quite a good topper shade, so if you wanted to put the matte across the whole of the lid and top it with this, that would be another look if you actually skip this shadow. I don't know if you could skip this shadow though, the duochrome, because it is so pretty. You can see just how light this one here is, Psychedelic. If you put this on the lid on its own, I don't think it would make that much impact, but over the top of a powder it would. In fact, I can give you an idea. So there's one of the mattes already on my arm there, and that's how it looks with Psychedelic on top. And if I took the Psychedelic over the top of the matte brown, just see how it totally changes it and gives it that sparkly effect. I'm going to take the Psychedelic underneath the brow as well. It's not really going to give me a huge pop of white, but it is going to give me a bit of a sparkle, which I think is beautiful actually, really perfect for that. So now I'm going to take the same Psychedelic from the Retro palette. I don't think there's a change of formula here, so it should look exactly the same. This is the one, the only one I think is exactly the same. It looked the same, felt the same, the Chroma Crystal, but I don't know. Was Chroma Crystal around when the Retro palette came out? If you know, please let me know. It does look and feel identical to me. Now I'm going to use my Refa 34 brush. I've only recently started using this because I received it in PR from Refa. It's such a good liner brush, this one. So I'm going to go into this deep shade here, O part, which is the one I blended out here, and I'm hoping by using this brush I'm going to get a lot more colour to use it as a liner, so I won't need to use anything else. It's not a very strong liner, but then I think with these colours it's just about right. I'm quite happy with that. So here's one eye with and one eye without, so you can see it. I think it's actually just right. I was on the verge of wetting the brush to get a bit more out of it, but I'm actually quite happy with it as it is. But if you did want to try to get a little bit more impact, if you wet the brush and then go in, you probably will see a bit more colour. I'm taking it above, taking it tight to the lashes. I got my first little bit of fallout then, even though I tapped off, but that is the first time. Now I'll try the same with the retro palette. So this is the cream to powder formula. That's actually going on better. I'm not having to build that up so much. Honestly, I'm a bit confused by this. Definitely prefer O part in cream to powder formula. It was better on this eye for blending out, and it's better as a liner, much better actually. Can you see I've just done one layer and it's already looking deeper than that side? Isn't that strange that they've changed the formula, but the old one is better? I think it is anyway. I'm also not getting the fallout with the cream to powder. In fact, I'm going to take the cream to powder on this side to build up a little bit underneath so that they're more equal, because I couldn't build this side up any more than I have using the new formula. So that is the final look using every shade in this palette, and the winner of the show for me is definitely the duochrome. And well, the brown works very nicely as a liner. It did need to be built up and I've had to go over it a bit, but I did prefer the one from the original retro. I am loving this Refa eyelash curler. It really is fabulous. Can you see the difference already with my eyelashes? So here it is with mascara on. That duochrome really is absolutely stunning. If you want to get this palette for any reason alone, that would be it for me, for that one. So if you already have it from the 28 palette, maybe yours is still going, great. And if it's starting to dry out or you don't have it, that would be my reason for getting this. So now let's try on the Rose Cheek palette to go with this. So this was launched with the I Need a Rose collection. And this is a sort of cream formula. It's quite a wet cream formula, not that sort of dry one. It really feels wet. It's a proper cream. I'm actually trying this for the first time. I didn't buy this when this collection launched, but I thought as soon as I'm getting the palette, I did go in quite heavily, and you can see there's not an awful lot coming off. So this is one I can be fairly confident with and not worry too much about ruining my look by putting too much on. I don't have any powder by there, so this is going on without powder. It is a cream, but it's certainly not a wet cream. It's got quite a dry down to it, and I think you do need to work it in fairly quickly. Very pretty shade though, very, very pretty. Take a little bit across my nose to give me that fresh flush. Take a little bit more on the higher points, build it up a bit more. So this can definitely be built up, this blush, quite a bit. And I love the way I can just do it quite easily and not have that immediate depth. So it's a built up depth. So now I'm going to put the highlighter on. This is quite a sort of goldy highlight, so I'm hoping it won't be too deep of a gold for me. I think it's probably just about right. Yeah, it's not too shiny, is it? A little bit stronger than that and it would have been too deep for my skin tone, but I think it's probably just about right. In fact, it's gorgeous, isn't it? I'll take a bit down the nose and the Cupid's bow. I'm actually going to put a tiny bit of the cream pink on top of the highlight now, so they really fuse together. That is really, really pretty. Really like that. So I've got the I Need a Rose lip crayon, and I've got this in Peony. So there it is. Super creamy, super easy to apply. Very light rose colour. Bear with me because this will blend out and look much better. This feels so creamy, it feels almost like a soft matte lipstick, one of those liquid soft mattes that you could just blend into the lips instantly. I love this shade, you know. So now using one of my old eyeshadow brushes, a dense one, I'm just going to blend this in a bit. And now we're going in with the I Need a Nude lipstick in Peony. Beautiful packaging, isn't it? Here it is. I just love this shade, I really do. Described as being a voluptuous, creamy and hydrating lipstick, this one. So that is how that looks. Really lovely, isn't it? So we've got eyes, cheeks and lips all very much matching. I love matching. Honestly, if you follow my channel, you know that's something I really enjoy. I do actually have the lip gloss from this collection in the same shade. Now I probably would go either or with this, so maybe the lip liner with the gloss or the lipstick. But I'm going to try it on top just to see if it's going to give me that bit of shine on top of this, whether they work together. Yeah, and it's sitting very nicely on top actually. Immediately makes it more comfortable because the lipstick didn't feel that hydrating, if I'm honest with you. That's given me the hydration I need, absolutely. So yeah, definitely needed that for me. But just to show you, this is the gloss on its own, so it's pretty pigmented. Even if I rub it in, it's not going to disappear, so it would give you quite a lot of pigment and a lovely finish if you just wore this alone with the liner. So that is my final look using this new Mini Rose eyeshadow palette and all of the I Need a Rose collection that I've bought. They do work together absolutely beautifully, and for someone who doesn't like to wear pink, I'm very happy wearing pink. Apologies for wearing blue. We're not particularly matching today, but anyway, I honestly didn't expect it to come this morning. I was doing other work this morning. Luckily I hadn't reached the eyes or cheeks when it was delivered, so I didn't have to take all my makeup off to do the video. But I wasn't dressed for a rose day, so apologies. But yes, another hit from Natasha Denona, as they always are for me when it comes to eyeshadows. Do you need to buy this? Probably not, because if you've got the retro palette, you've got 3 of these shades. But I would say that this duochrome is something super special. So it depends if you're like me, and I know with me, when I see a fancy duochrome and I don't have it, that's what makes me get it. But these are very likely to come out in sales. They might have special offers on over the holidays, Christmas time. So I don't know, it's entirely up to you. But remember, there's a 15% discount code, which you'll find below from me and from lots of other creators. So make sure you utilize that. And if you've got an account with Natasha, look out for those points, because I build up those points so fast and I really utilize them, and they give me fabulous discounts. So don't forget that if you're an account holder with Natasha. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you think. Are you going to be picking up this palette maybe now or later in the year? And what do you think of the whole rose collection used together? Like I said, for someone who doesn't like pink on my eyes, I'm quite happy with this look. I really am. I'd love to know what you think. Anyway, that's it from me for today. I've really enjoyed doing this, and I hope you've enjoyed watching. And if you're not subscribed, please do like and subscribe. And if you already are, as I said earlier, I appreciate all of you so very, very much. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again for my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.